Take advantage of the day. When you get an opportunity in this game, you make a play. The playmakers on three. 1, 2, 3.
Touchdown, Kansas City! The Chiefs are right in the thick of it, baby! Hello, Chiefs Kingdom, and welcome to this episode of Defending the Kingdom. Mitch Holthus with you, the voice of the Chiefs, along with the man we call the Shop, the Barber, the Barbershop, the Spider-Man. He has so many names, his own comic books. Shawn Barber, 10-year National Football League veteran. And this episode is, well, we're going to say, first of all, is brought to you by these Bose 700 headphones. Your wife took yours, too. I see how it is.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's hard to hang on to these, man. Everybody wants them. I got a guy asked me today, I was trying to get some IT help, and he goes, what do I get, like 15 of those Bose 700s? I said, hey, Bose.com, or go to your favorite retailer. But these are awesome, actually. And we've talked about it. You can escape some soft music if you want to get going, want to get ready for a game. I actually had these on before the game Sunday, but it didn't help much. But I'm not going to blame the Bose 700 headphones. But this episode, we are calling this Find Your Dawg. And Dawg is D-A-W-G, Chiefs versus Bills. I'm telling you, this feels like a mid-October showdown, throwdown game. You got two AFC challengers. I think Buffalo's in this thing big time. I like the roster. I like what they've done. Even though they got worked in their loss Tuesday night, they're going to be back with a vengeance, and so will the Chiefs. I just think this feels playoff-ish in the middle of October. So the Chiefs are going to have to find some dog, D-A-W-G, to fight and win this game.
Man, you talk about dog, desire, right? You talk about attitude. You talk about winning the game. That's what we talk about. Desire and attitude wins the game. That's the dog we want to find here in Kansas City. So I can't wait for us to get back on the field on Monday night against those Buffalo Bills.
Desire, attitude, win the game. Now, I got to ask you, in your career, before we get into some real-life dogs here, we're going to have some fun with this episode because we've reached out to some of our Defending the Kingdom podcasters with us to say, hey, I need to see your dog. Your career, when you face this, either personally, like you got to backed into a corner, you got to fight like a dog here, or as a team when you face this, either Redskins, Chiefs, Eagles.
Man, I've had some winning seasons where we come out. Actually, the 2003 season comes out when I was with the Chiefs. Right, we started that win streak. We go to face the Cincinnati Bengals. And we kind of felt like we were in a dog fight, right? They guaranteed that we wasn't going to win that game. We thought we was on a hot streak, and we had to come out fighting. And then multiple times in my career, when on the defensive side of the ball, when you're facing some of these vaulted offenses, the Peyton Mannings, the Tom Brady's, some of these offenses are fully loaded with weapons. On the defense side of the ball, man, you feel like just that you gotta take your level, your attitude, your mentality to a different level when your back's against the wall and you think that the season is on the line. And I'm not saying we got to press any panic buttons. I'm not saying that anything needs to change, but there needs to be an adjustment to the mindset and attitude that all of our players take going on the field, because they need to realize they need to bring that alpha dog out of them so it hits the field on game day.
Nothing makes your point stronger to me than, and I don't blame them, and I'm not saying this to be arrogant or overconfident, but when the Raiders supposedly took victory laps with their buses around Arrowhead Stadium, tells you all you need to know. People are loading up a full load of canister here for the Chiefs, and they've seen them, they've watched them. Now they're trying to emulate them. When I look at this Buffalo team, keep in mind now, Sean McDermott was with Coach Reid for a long time. And to me, it looks like Buffalo's trying to put together a roster the way what the Chiefs have. And you got Josh Allen, who's got a big-time arm strength, who can launch it like Mahomes. You can have the perfect play call, perfect personnel, and it don't matter because they just throw it over the top of you, right? That's what this kid can do. And then when they added Stephon Diggs, they go get John Brown, the former Pittsburgh State Gorilla. They got some speed dudes. Gabriel Davis right down the line. Andre Roberts, Isaiah McKenzie. So to me, it looks like the Bills want to be like the Chiefs. But because of that, here we go again. You're going to get the full everything that other teams got when you're the Kansas City Chiefs every week.
Yeah, you're going to get the full money, right? You're going to get everything from the rushing game all the way to the vertical pass game to the possession. And then they come up with a kind of a snarly, nasty defense, too. Sean McDermott it's not only the Coach Reed coaching tree, but Sean McDermott was brought up under Coach Spagnuolo. So it's that same Jim Johnson style, very aggressive, in your face, trying to dictate what you do on offense based off of defensive sets and their mindset. And what you're going to realize, this game is going to come down to execution. Who does the little things, the small details, don't get the penalties, and makes plays when they have the opportunity to be in the red zone, gets points on the boards. Turnover battle is going to be so big in this game. It's going to be two equally yoked teams who are both top three teams in the AFC battling on Monday night to see actually who reigns supreme and takes control of the AFC.
All right, now we're going to have some fun with this to illustrate some of these points even further, because we have some folks that have sent us pictures of dogs. This is the first one. This is one of my favorites, Otto, a German Shepherd mix. Connor sent this one in, a Chiefs Kingdom, Defending the Kingdom podcaster, man. He's got his letter jacket, but he's also a teacher. And it gives me, and my son also teaches and coaches. But Connor, these teachers, man, I'm telling you, they got to teach virtually. They got to teach some, depending on the school system, in person, but they got to do both. I mean, we talk about folks in the healthcare, and yes, I mean, continue to pray for those people. The folks at people like Hy-Vee that are working double shifts, they clean everything over and over and over to make it it's as safe as possible in this COVID environment. But I'm not sure we talk enough about the teachers and administrators, but what they've had to face, making decisions, dealing with parents, protecting, educating their kids. And here's Connor, who's sending us Otto, the German Shepherd mix. But we do need to give a shout out of all the teachers that are listening and watching to this podcast.
Yeah, and Otto, what you said, he adjusts. He's flexible. He's able to move, right? Make moves and adjustments on the fly. That's exactly what COVID has done to every team in the NFL. And the team that executes and is able to adjust, be flexible. You're playing on Thursday night, now Sunday, now Monday, maybe even Tuesday. You have to continue to be about your process. Guys, waking up ready, knowing I have a job to do. I got to execute. I got to come ready to play the game. The excuses of what time you're playing, whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, none of that's out the door now. We're going on to week 6 of a season where bye weeks and matchups and opponents 10 weeks down the line are being changed at a moment's notice. Every team has to be prepared to play every week. Let your A game show, and no matter what time the game is, no matter what day of the week is, like Otto is, you got to be flexible. You got to learn and be ready to adjust on the fly.
Yeah, Coach Reed was with me on the Chiefs Kingdom show on Monday night. On Monday night, get these days mixed up. But he went through all that has to go in with all of these potential changes, and you do have to be a dog to figure that out, but you just nailed it. The second thing about Otto, before we move on here, this German Shepherd mix, great ball skills. This dog has great ball skills. Will wear Connor out at the park, chasing the ball all day long. And the defense, we've seen them with ball skills. Thornhill's got a pick. Honey Badger's got a pick 6. We saw Brashad Breeland jump onto the scene the other day. He's got a pick. But they're going to need that kind of ball awareness. Josh Allen doesn't throw many picks. He had a couple drops the other night, one pick off a drop. But ball skills in this game. Who makes those catches? Because Buffalo had too many drops on Tuesday night. Yeah,
and I think we saw on the film last night, actually, Allen threw a couple balls over to the Tennessee Titans. So we can be focused in zone. And I know zone defense is so big about having your eyes on the quarterback. And the thing that Mahomes does better than a lot of quarterbacks, including Josh Allen, is he's able to control the safeties and control your zone with his eyes, even though he's throwing it someplace else. Josh Allen, though, he's not able to do that. He throws it where he stare downs receiver, stare down zone, and allows defenders to get great breaks on the ball. And we saw number 21 from the Tennessee Titans in the last Bills-Titans game had 2 picks, and it kind of it turned the momentum of that game from a Buffalo Bills being the favorite to the Tennessee Titans defense taking it and running with it.
I don't want to leave Rashad Fenton out of this. L'Jarius Sneed with 2 picks before he got hurt. Fenton had that pick as well against New England. All right, that's our first dog. Here we go. What the Chiefs need to beat Buffalo on this Monday afternoon showdown is find your dog. And the second one, here we go, Ziggy, the Bernie Doodle. Am I saying that right? Bernie Doodle, whatever. Now, this is Ziggy's been submitted by folks from Ankeny, Iowa here. This is Luke from Ankeny, Iowa, the Fighting Ankeny Central, man. But Ziggy, you're going to think, well, what's Ziggy doing in this, man? How does Ziggy win in Buffalo? But this is a little small dog that is not afraid. I'm told when they take this dog out, it wants to go play with the big dogs, not the little dogs. So this is a little dog that doesn't know it's little. It wants to play with the big dogs.
Yeah, between Honey Badger and Clyde Hilaire-Edwards, I think both of those guys know what it means to be a little bit overmatched by your size and people doubting you about how big you can play in big games and big plays because of your size. But what we've seen from the Honey Badger and what we've seen from the Clyde Hilaire is that it doesn't matter about the size of the dog. It's the bark. It's the bite. And both of them have bit offenses and defenses in the butt numerous times to make great big plays for our Chiefs offense and defense. And that's what I think is a team, right? When you're doubted and they talk about our offensive line is having not the greatest games, we're worrying about can we run the ball on short yardage, all the things that haven't been working for us. And they forget about all the great things going on here in Kansas City, the vertical game, the way the defense is pressured and attacked the quarterback. So we need guys just to have that, with that small dog mentality is you don't worry about our bark. You better worry about our bite.
The other thing about Ziggy is the fact that it does not mind being chased. When it goes to the park playing with the big dogs, it actually kind of says, chase me, let's go. And for the Kansas City Chiefs, you're thinking, well, how does that pertain? The Chiefs are going to be chased all this year. We've already seen it in the first 5 weeks of the season. And we know Buffalo's chasing the Chiefs. Not to be arrogant, it's just the way it is. 1, you're the defending champion. 2, in the way you've done it. The way Coach Reid has approached this game and structured this offensive and defensive structure and structured the roster. You cannot be afraid of being chased. As I said to open the broadcast, the play-by-play Sunday, you got to attack the attacker. And that's what the Chiefs need to do in this Bills game. They got to turn it on the Bills and not be afraid to be chased and then attack the attacker.
Yeah, I always talk about winners, right? Winners worried about winning. Losers worried about winners. And so we don't want to be the team looking at other teams wondering what they're doing. We have, eyes face forward. We're always winning and learning. That's what great organizations do. They win and they learn at the same time. And then losing organizations, they win or they lose. That's not what we have here in Kansas City. Each game, we have a chance to develop a little bit more. We call that scar tissue when it comes to the losses that's going to help us later on in the season. But when we win and we have positive, explosive plays and positive possessions on offense and big play defenses, we take all those things and we just more and more ingredients as we mix that 2020 season up because we're looking for that special recipe that's going to make this team be a unique team. And we'll see this team in Tampa Bay. You definitely 100% sure about that.
Feeling that. Now let's go to our next dog. This dog is from Cairo, Nebraska. And Alicia's put this dog in there, Defending the Kingdom podcaster deluxe. This is Rosalie, and this is a puggle. This is a cross between a pug and a beagle. Now, first of all, this is a well-dressed dog. This dog is ready to go. It's got the uniform on. Uniform police went by. There's no fine with this dog. It's got the socks. And it's got everything ready to go. But this is Rosalie the Puggle. And when you look at this dog, it looks to me, here's what I like, is I love crossbreeds sometimes. Yeah, I know. I love, purebred dogs and all that. But sometimes some of the best dogs are just those mutts that are beautiful crossbreeds. And for the Chiefs, it has to be finding the complementary football again. Let me illustrate the point. Think about the offense in the Las Vegas Raiders game. All right, that game's tied 24 apiece. The Chiefs are, putting it on them. Defense set up 1 touchdown with the pick by Rashad Breeland. But the Chiefs were able to get 3 touchdowns and a field goal in that first 30 minutes of that game. But the Raiders were able to get all those big plays. Well, what happened? In the third quarter, that game just totally flipped. Chiefs get a stop. They get a 3 and out. What happens? They give the ball right back, but they get another stop. What happens? they give the ball right back. There was a chance to seize the game early in the third quarter with the score tied, and it stayed that way. Here and special teams. I know Coach Tobe talked to him last week, and there's a bit of not frustration, but he's kind of waiting for it to all come together. When I look at some of the stats on special teams, the Chiefs are near the bottom in a lot of them. Here's my point, the crossbreed, and that is finding a way to play complementary football where offense and defense fit hand in glove, and special teams covers maybe all of that. They're going to need that in this game against Buffalo, in my opinion.
Yes, we're not talking about what players match up well on paper. We're not talking about X's and O's. We're talking about complementary football. That's all three phases. The offense takes ignition and emotion from the special teams when we have a big kickoff return. The defense takes the emotion from the offense once they go down and score, and then our kickoff team pins the team down inside the 10-yard line, and the defense gets to attack the field and get the ball back for the offense at the 50. When those ebbs and flows of emotion, Chiefs, that's when you put up those 24 points in a quarter type games like we've seen Pat Mahomes and our offense do. And when those things aren't going well, a lot of times it's a penalty, a holding call, offensive pass interference, defensive holding call that gives a team a fresh set of downs. Any of those things starts to mess with that ebb and flow you're talking about, and it can get in the way of that complementary football that's so important, especially when you're playing against one of the top 5 teams in the league this year with the Buffalo Bills.
And I'm still waiting, I think, for all 3 switches to be clicked on the same night. You can say Baltimore was, but we gave up a 93-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. And so Tobe would said, no, we didn't flip the switch that night. But if you go green in this, it's just like those great crossbreed dogs. You've got something really special there. All right, so we know that this Chiefs roster has fast, small guys, tough big guys, fast big guys. So now we go to the next dog, and this one gets close to home. I said that my son is a teacher and a coach. This was his dog who's no longer here, but this was one of my favorite dogs. When he was in Texas coaching and teaching, and his wife was going through her residency program, she's a doctor, they had Nico. Look at this bad boy. He's an Italian Mastiff. Now, you always want to pick up after your dog, right? When you follow around an Italian Mastiff, you better have a forklift. This dog was putting out some, he's biological. I got it. But I mean, holy cow, this ain't a spoon. You better have a shovel. But this dog was one of the best dogs I've ever been around. Why? Power and protection. This was an incredible dog. My son would have to go on scouting trips to Houston and San Antonio and Austin. And so his wife would be home with Nico. And then they had their grandchild, or my grandchild, their child. And so this dog was awesome at protecting them when my son was gone, or had that feeling about it. So I'm thinking protection here on the offensive line, being a big, bad Italian Mastiff in letting Patrick Mahomes get into a rhythm against a Buffalo defense that you already said is feisty. They play with a lot of energy, and there's a lot of skill on that Buffalo defense.
Well, that D-line that they have, according with the linebackers, they can make it a long day for an offensive line. And our offensive line is going to have to do exactly what you just said. They're going to have to protect and give Pat Mahomes at least 3 or 4 seconds back there to make him pay with those over-aggressive defensive backs. They sit on short routes. They sit on the medium routes. So you have to use some double moves, some rub routes, some complementary routes to create some opportunities to make them pay down deep. And then you talked about the power. The power our offensive line is going to need to, I call it duo block. We need big on big, double up to the next level, create some vertical seams in that defensive line so our running game can get going downhill and not have to always go on the edge and think that we need to attack the ends and outside the edge in order to get some yardage. And we know, we've seen it over and over again how teams are trying to defend us now, right? Dropping 7, 8 defenders into the zone to make Pat hold the ball. Well, if a team's going to have that type of mentality, to me, that's a soft mentality against the running game, and it's daring you to run. And so if we have to gear it up, buckle up those helmets, tighten those screws a little bit more, and bring that power running game to Buffalo, then, hey, we got to be ready to dial it up, and let's look for a big game out of our rushing game.
And the other side of this beautiful Italian Mastiff, Nico, forever in our hearts and our families, one of the great dogs, particularly at the time of their lives when they needed Nico, is also on the defensive line. show some power here. Now, Nico was a perfect dog, but if you or he wanted to get after you now, look out. And he was going to chase you down. This was like a horse dog. But we need some horses here. This is where that defensive line has got to show up in this Buffalo game. Josh Allen now is hard to sack. He can run. He can throw. We already know that. He can do a lot of Mahomesy kind of things. So this D-line has got to be on their game, and we'll throw in the linebackers, your position into this.
Yeah, looking for us to definitely getting him a little uncomfortable in the pocket, because we've already seen if you let him get comfortable and get in the rhythm, he can put up 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. He's done that week 1 through week 4 in this calendar year, and has had one of the greatest starts, one of the better starts of all the quarterbacks around the league. He's actually trying to knock on the door for that MVP race. But we've seen the chink in his armor. You get him flushed out to his left side, make him throw it on the run. He'll make some bad decisions with the ball when he's being pressured and when he's called try to step up and put the weight of the team on his shoulders. And so I think that, like you said, up front, linebackers, our front 7 linebackers and D-line, they got to do their job at stopping the running game, and then make this quarterback make plays against our secondary and against our underneath coverage. I think if we keep forcing it, keep pressuring that position, the quarterback position for the Bills will erupt and cause a turnover.
And that Italian Mastiff on the defensive line for the Chiefs can also help prevent those big plays, because there was, a 72, a 58, a 43, a 40, a 42 on 3rd and 18. That's stuff we do to other teams. Other teams don't do to us. And when you look at those, there was just enough comfort in Carr that he could unleash those, or the running game, as you mentioned, when Devontae Booker peeled off a 43-yard run. All right, our final dog. What? It's a cat. How did a cat sneak into this podcast? This is Find Your Dog. All right, we'll go cat here. This is Chuck the cat. And this is from Tempe, Arizona is where this one's coming from. Chuck the cat from Tempe, Arizona. How do we get a cat in here? But maybe it's fitting, because guess what Chuck's nickname is? Now, this is a cat not only with a name, it's got a nickname. The nickname? LeBron. They call this cat LeBron. Well, it's Chuck. But, hey, it's fitting. We could use some inner LeBron in the Buffalo game, because we are the champion, and we won't want to go win another one, because there was nothing standing in LeBron's way to go get this one.
Man, we talk about that championship mindset. Every champion knows it all starts with the mental. It's not a physical thing. The mistakes that were made that cost us that Raiders game, it wasn't physical. It was mindset, lack of communication, lack of adjustments, lack of just not having the trust in each other as far as the back end with the front end. And so on the defensive side of the ball, giving up 40 points was nothing that we were proud of, but it is what it is. And it cost us to have to go back, look at the film, and understand and take some accountability, responsibility against doing your job. Each individual on that field has to do their job, and they are accountable to one another. So when I see old Chuck, Mr. AKA LeBron, I realize what LeBron has is that mindset. Champions come every day to get better prepared for what is they're about to see on the court or the field. And that growth mindset is something I know Coach Spagnuolo, Coach Eric Bieniemy, and Coach Andy Reid demands out of our team on a daily.
And finally, Chuck, a.k.a. LeBron, the cat, the only cat to sneak into a dog episode. Hey, the cheetah's a cat. And the cheetah, when he gets it going, the way he tracks the ball, like that 58-yard touchdown pass, that was one of the best plays of the NFL season. They got called off. All right, his ability to track the ball, affect a game, whether he's got the ball or not. This is a big game for the cheetah. 46 overall touchdowns, 5 games in a row where he's found the end zone, either catching it or running it. Only Jerry Rice has as many receiving and rushing touchdowns when you look at him combined as the cheetah, Tyreek Hill. This needs to be a cheetah kind of game in this Monday afternoon affair coming up with Buffalo.
I think Cheetah understands that primetime players make big plays in big games. And right now in this season, right, we've cleared off the first quarter 4-0. We started out the second quarter with a loss. So 3-1 is the goal for the second quarter of the season. We take it quarter by quarter. After a quarter is over, you forget about it. But that's how you stay in the now. We're not worried about the past. We're worrying about right now, because now determines our future. And this team has a bright future. So we talked about some dogs. I got a couple dogs on this shirt.
The Rushes.
The Rush brothers.
That is 4 dogs. That's 4 dogs.
Right?
Hey, y'all, you could be with those 4 and you're going to win a lot of games, right? I could be with those 4 and we could win a lot of games. I could be the 5th to just keep the scorebook and let those 4 do all the playing. Do you have a boyhood dog?
Man, I had a dog when I was in college, a dog named Sabian, right? This dog had no bite, no bark. It was one of the most passive dogs I've ever had. But I love that dog, man. I took care of that dog all through college. Some of my roommates and I, man, we walked him around, man, and it kind of made us feel good. He was a Rottweiler. So he looked the part, but he ain't had no bite. He ain't had no bark. So eventually we had to get rid of him.
I had a boxer, and it was trained as a little military pup boxer, little tail, stubby tail, right? Just one. And I grew up on a farm. That boxer had to beat up skunks, possum, protect the house, protect my mom when she was there, protect me when I was out playing around and saw some snake that I didn't see. That boxer was awesome. Butch, the boxer, greatest dog maybe in Canton, Ohio's Dog Hall of Fame. But Shop, it's time to find the inner dog. Need to go to Buffalo and win this game. This game is a big game. It's a big dog game. Let's do it.
Yeah, man, championship mindset. The biggest game is always the next game. And this is the next one as far as we know on the schedule. So we got to line up, play our best game, grow as a team, continue to grow, move forward. And once that momentum shifts to the Chiefs, we got to take that thing and run it for 4 quarters and finish the game strong.
Find your dog. Find these Bose 700 headphones, too. They'll help you find your dog. He's the shop. He's the barber. He's the barber shop. He's the Spider-Man. He is a dog, and that's a compliment. I'm Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs. Find your dog. It's time to play Buffalo and time to keep on running it back, Chiefs Kingdom.